Good morning. The following Zoom session is being recorded and will appear later today on my YouTube channel, Math with Mayo. There are two different classes that may be observing this session. Therefore, when you participate in the Zoom meeting, if you do not wish for your picture or your name to be made public, please leave the video off and use an alias name. If you have questions during the meeting but do not wish to speak, email me at bmayo@ybcc.edu and I'll respond as soon as I can. All right, so today we're going to be covering Objective 1A, which you should see in your syllabus. A couple of things I want to mention or remind you of. First of all, I don't think I mentioned yesterday about the Math Center, and this is a Zoom ID where you can reach the Math Center, and these are the hours, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Monday through Thursday, 6 through 9 p.m. So even when I'm not available, the Math Center is there. You can go in on this Zoom and they can help you. The other things I want to remind you of is that, again, I do not use Canvas. I got a phone call from the lady who runs Canvas saying, hey, your students keep calling me and wanting to know where your Canvas stuff is. There is no stuff for me on Canvas, and if it's there, I didn't put it there. So please, no Canvas. You need to get in touch with me. Use that email address, which is right there. Okay. Finally, if any of you have questions that you want me to do on the next day's Zoom meeting, please get to me before 10 a.m. on that given day, because after about 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm preparing, getting ready for today's Zoom class, and I don't tend to go back and look at my email till after lunch, actually. So just a reminder of that. Okay, so now let's go ahead and get started. So we'll get down here to a blank screen. And let's see here. If I can get this. Oh, there we go. It's working. Okay, excellent. All right. So today the lesson is about rounding. And before we can talk about rounding, we need to establish where the placeholders are. First of all, we're going to talk about whole numbers. So not fractions or decimals, but whole numbers. And for instance, if we have the number 2,375, we have 2,000s, 300s, 7 tens, and 5 ones. So your placeholders starting at the right, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Any questions about that particular example? All right, let's expand the placeholders. So let's say we've got this number, 134,207,485,369. So again, starting at the right, we've got ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, then 10,000s, 100,000s, millions, 10 millions, 100 millions, billions, 10 millions, 100 billions. You can see there's a pattern there. I want to point out that these all end with an S. Now, the reason I mention that is because in a little bit, we're going to go to decimal numbers. And then when we go to the right of the ones column, numbers will end in THS, as we'll see. They'll be like tenths, hundredths, thousands, but we'll talk about that in a bit. All right. Any questions about this before we proceed? So now we're going to look at some examples. Let's see here. And I got to push enter. So we're going to just look at some examples here. So it says round each number to the given place value. So first of all, we have the number 607. And it says to round it to the tens. So the first thing we need to do is to establish where the number is that is in the column where we're going to round. So it says to round in the tens column. So this is what? The ones, the tens, and the hundreds, right? So this is the tens column. The next thing that we do is we go just one digit to the right, not 2 or 3 or 57, just one digit to the right of the column. So now we're looking at the 7. If the number in that column is a 5 or larger, we're going to round up. If it is a 4 or smaller, we're going to round down. Since the 7 is 5 or larger, we're going to round up. So this number becomes 610. Now, we need to have the 0 in the 610 because if we just wrote 61, we'd be confused as to what that number actually was. So that's why we need to have the 0 there. Any questions about that example? All right, let's take a look at another example. Let's see. 61,703, and we're going to round to the thousands column. So the thousands column is right here, okay? Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. So that's the thousands column. We go one column to the right. Oh, we've got another 7, so that's going to round up. So this is going to be 62,000 as our final answer. Again, any questions about that? All right, excellent. Let's take a look at the following problem, 649 hundreds. So the 6 is in the hundreds column. Oops, come on here. 1 to the right is a 4. The 4 would round down, so we would get 600. Here's an example where it's easy to mess up if you don't follow the rules. What I'll have students do is they'll say, well, the 9 rounds up, which makes this a 5, which then rounds up. No, you only go one place to the right. So you've got no business looking at that 9, okay? So be careful with that. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this one. 62,907, and it says 10,000s. So the 10,000s column would be the 6. One place to the right is the 2. 2 is less than 5, so we're going to round down. So we're going to get 60,000. Again, any questions there? All right, this next one might seem a little bit tricky. It's actually one of my favorite ones. It says round to the nearest 100. Well, we have an 8 in the ones column and a 4 in the tens column. What's in the hundreds column? There's nothing there. So it's like as if there was a 0 there. So there's our column, so to speak. We go one digit to the right, the 4 would round down. So this is going to be 0 hundreds. So to the nearest 100, the answer is 0. Any questions about that? Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at 18. So this is 83,496. And it says round the tens column. Okay, so now the 9 is in the tens column. One digit to the right is the 6, so that's going to round up. Okay, since that rounds up, it makes this 9 into a 10, which means we have to carry the 1 over here. So we get 83,500. Any questions about that example? Okay. Let's take a look at another one. 8,790 says round to the tens. Well, the 9 is in the tens column. The 0 would round down. So basically, this number isn't going to change, rounding it to the nearest 10. All right. Any questions about any of those problems before we move on? All right, let's see here. I want to go to page 411. So now we're going to expand our placeholders. Here we have the things that we had before, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, etc., going to the left of the decimal point. But going to the right of the decimal point, we have tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. I feel like I'm in a speech therapy class. 100 thousandths, millionths. Okay. So again, be careful. Notice over here they end in an S. Over here they end in a THS. There's almost symmetry there, but not quite. We've got ones, but we don't have once. Okay, like that Tom Jones song for once in my life. Da, da, da. You know the song, sure you do. All right, I know. Keep your day job, right? All right, so we got ones, then we've got tens, tenths, hundreds, hundredths, thousands, thousandths, 10 thousandths, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so let's see how we do with that. And let's go to some examples. So 4, 2, 8. And so again, round each number to the given place value, but be careful. Is it a THS or just an S? So the first problem I've got, let's see, 357.016. And it says to round to the hundredths spot. Okay, so review: ones, tens, hundreds, tenths, hundredths. So this is the column we want to round. Okay, those little things below, those aren't ones, those are just me identifying as I was pointing to them. So we go one place to the right, the 6 would round up. So we'll get 357.02. Any questions about that example? Now, I want to point something out. You might have a tendency to put a 0 here, but you really don't want a 0 there because it says round to the hundredths column. So there shouldn't be anything beyond the hundredths. Any questions about that? All righty. Let's take a look at this one. 24,756.829. And we're going to round in the tens column. Not the tenths, but the tens column. So that would be right there. Okay. One digit to the right, the 6 would round up. So we're going to get 24,760. Any questions there? Okay. Let's see here. This is 610.789,454. And we're going to round to the 10 thousandths. Okay. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. So the 4 is in the 10 thousandths place. We go one digit to the right. The 5 is going to round up. So we get 610.7895. Okay, let's see here. Let's take a look. Oh, this one. It says 4,961.38 whole number. This often confuses people. Whole number would be the same as the ones column, meaning that we don't have any decimal part. So this would be the whole number column. The 3 would round down. So 4,961 would be the final answer. Any questions there? Okay. So either you're all picking this up really well or you're just shy and you don't want to say anything. Hopefully it's the first part. Okay. Let's see here. Let's take a look at this one. 718.203 hundredths. So this is what? The tenths, hundredths. So that's the column we want. The 3 would round down. So 718.20. Now, I hate to start out this way. Here it is, the first day, first homework assignment and everything. I discovered something last night about WAMAP. I'm not real happy about it, but it is what it is. And that is that it's possible to put in some answers that technically are wrong, but WAMAP will accept it. So I'm not going to go through and look at everybody's homework and say, oh, it said it was right and it's really wrong. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to warn you so that down the road in a chemistry class, when you start talking about significant digits, you'll know. For instance, this problem, this is the correct answer. You need to have that 0 because it wanted it rounded in the hundredths column. However, if you put that in to WAMAP, or if you put this in to WAMAP, it will accept both of them, okay? So I will accept both of them, but technically they are not correct. So just to let you know that you want to have the last digits that's listed, but nothing beyond that. Now, let's say you've got something like this, 718.203, and let's say we're going to round to the hundreds, okay? So here you'd have 700. Now, why do I need those zeros? I need them so that the 7 is in the correct placeholder, okay? So here I've got to have the zeros to get it in the correct placeholder. But here, I don't need any of these zeros. I only need the one to say we round it to the 100th spot. Hopefully the 100th spot, excuse me. Hopefully that doesn't confuse you. I noticed somebody put something in the chat and I will check it, but just to let you know, just to remind you, okay, somebody said, what is the enrollment key for WAMAP? If you look in the syllabus that I sent you, it's listed in the syllabus. If you can't find that, then email me and after class, I'll get in touch with you on that, okay? But I don't have that. Actually, you know what? I do have it right here. Hang on. The enrollment key is, this is going to be a tough one. It's my last name, capital M-A-Y-O. Okay, that's the enrollment key. But if you look on your syllabus, you should find it there. Anyway, as I mentioned before, I don't tend to have time or to even notice things in the chat, but I did happen to notice that. All right. Do you have any questions? Okay, well, that's all I've got for today. Just a reminder, work on the assignment today. Even though on the syllabus it says it's due by 11:59 p.m. tomorrow night, if you wait until tomorrow night and then you want help, there may not be help available, okay, at the last minute. So work on it today. If you have questions, I will be back this afternoon at 1:15 with an office hour, or you can email me before 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. And depending on when it is and what the question is, I'll either get right back to you or or if you've requested me to do a specific problem, then I'll just do it the next day. Any questions about anything? All right, I'm going to stop the recording.